Live it up. Live like it's the night of your life. You got the right to live. So go and live it up. Live like it's the night of your life. Let's start the party. Start the party. Live it up. Live like it's the night of your life. You got the right to live. So go and live it up. Live like it's the night of your life. Let's start the party. Start the party.
Girl, I'm dangerous like tightrope. No talking, not that of a maestro. More like that lizard from Geico. When I lick, you go psycho. Downtown, I'm more famous than Michael. My game, I gave it to Tycho. Gene Simmons of my time. Whoa, got mind control. Damn control. Up to your spine and back down to your toes. Melt you, little mama, like pie and mode. Hot like the summer.
It's Friday. Welcome to the Xander Effect. I'm your host, Xander Dames. Xander Entertainment News, we have the story of a young 9-year-old boy, Quaden Bayles, and how he has touched the hearts of so many people and a lot of celebrities that are having his back. Plus, in sports, the NFL players are not happy about the proposed CBA regulations that they're trying to push. A lot of NFL players are against it. In video game news, brand new vampire game that's coming out. You guys are going to want to listen to that. Plus, I have as my guest this week, or today actually, I have Kimberly, Dawn, up-and-coming country music artist, with her brand new hit single, Nashville. All of that coming up on the Xander Effect today. But first, up-and-coming hip-hop artist Jondoe and his song Ring, right here on the Xander Effect.
Hey, some people say we don't need nobody to lean on. I don't agree though. Mamas have papas and papas have mamas, and people need people. Opposites equal. A baby so little. There's a chapel somewhere. Where? On a hill in San Pedro, overlooking the ocean, with a gazebo for a male and a female, hoping that he will propose to a face-to-face, hand-to-hand, body-to-body, and not through an email. Used to have problems with details. Now I know what you're wearing, like I've been working for women's retail. We going for a ride. Why don't you fasten your seatbelt? We will never forget or never regret the stuff that we said as we walked in the aisle through the altar, straight out the church into the car, 'cause it's an event. Marriage was meant, a man and a woman. I gotta stand for something. Head over heels, like I fell on the steps. My head is still spinning from tumbling. Man, I'm just rambling, huh? And they say I don't know nothing, huh?
Maybe I'm done when it comes to love.
Lately I've been calling you, hoping that you let me through.
Open up the door.
Maybe I can talk to
I
you,
mean, where you at? Where you been?
and possibly you say I
For
do.
real?
But you just let it ring, 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 ring.
Come on, girl. Stop letting the
If you would wear this ring, 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 ring. Hey, hey. I'm assuming you love me, woman, you want me. Why don't you tell me? I come when you call me. There's something about you that plays with my heartbeat. There's something about you makes me feel like I'm melting. No matter what you say, nothing can stop me. Girl, you can help me. Don't take a selfie without me. Tell me about you like there's nothing about me. There's so much that you possess. Let me do your accounting. Huh? What would you say if I wish you away? Pick you up from the job in the middle of the day in a helicopter with some tickets to a play or an opera. Right before we get there, some lobster or a plate full of pasta. Then I hug you while I'm planning to surprise you. After the embrace, stand up in the place, get right up in your face. Then I stop you, get on one knee so everyone can see I'm in the posture. Take it out my pocket, then I open a little box up. Got that expression on your face like you just won an Oscar. Couldn't imagine my life without you. Baby, I've been calling you, hoping that you let me through. Maybe I can talk to you, and possibly you say I do. But you just let it ring, 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 ring. If you would wear this ring, 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 ring. It's plagiarism, yeah, to say that you do and act like you're true. I did that to you, girlfriend. It's plagiarism, yeah, to say that you care and act like you're there. You stole my idea, girlfriend. Lately I've been calling you, hoping that you let me through. Maybe I can talk to you, and possibly you say I do. But you just let it ring, 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 ring. If you would wear this ring, 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 ring. Lately I've been calling you, hoping that you let me through. Maybe I can talk to you, and possibly you say I do. But you just let it ring, 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 ring. If you would wear this ring, 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 ring. Hey, hey.
Man, talk about an awesome song. That song definitely could get stuck in anybody's head. That was Jondoe's Ring right here on the Xander Effect. And man, talk about a crazy week in entertainment news. I mean, we have this video went viral this week on a young boy by the name of Quaden Bayles out of Australia who has something called it's a birth, something that he was born with. It's called achondroplasia dwarfism, and he's been getting bullied. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, you would think that bullying would end already. And this little boy, this sweet little boy is getting bullied. And he went in front of a camera because his mom was taking footage of this, taking a video through her phone of him saying that he wanted to kill himself. It was such a heartbreaking thing to watch. And it has many people in an uproar, including myself, somebody that got bullied as a child. It was the most heartbreaking thing. It brought me to tears to see a little 9-year-old boy wanting to kill himself. This is what drives so many kids to do exactly that because of these bullies. Parents, teach your children to be kind to one another. It's not that difficult. If you were a bully when you were a kid, trust me when I say it doesn't do anybody any good to teach your children to be the same way. And because of this, so many celebrities have come out and have this kid's back. You have Josh Gad that said there's perhaps, on a tweet, there's perhaps nothing more heartbreaking and debilitating than seeing a child take this kind of bullying to heart. As someone who was bullied as a child and to this day gets bullied by trolls online, I can safely say with confidence that you are so much more special and beautiful. James Wood tweeted, I'm hoping my lovely followers in Australia will somehow bring this to the attention of my pal, #Quaden Bayles. Hang in there, Quaden. You've got more friends than you know. I was bullied a lot as a kid. We've all been there. Go, Quaden. William Shatner tweeted, I'm usually not one to support or promote a GoFundMe campaign, but this is truly heart-wrenching what happened to Quaden. I'm asking at Disneyland to get involved and to treat Quaden as a king during his stay. Such beautiful, an outpour of so many celebrities. You have Hugh Jackman that also tweeted saying, Quaden, you've got a friend in me, along with a video. You have The Walking Dead, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, that basically said he didn't know who it was, he didn't know who Quaden is, but that he's there for him as well. He quoted, you have a bunch of friends out here, out in the world that you haven't met yet. We're here, we got your back. You need to know that it'll get better. It has also hit the MMA scene as the owner of one of the top MMA schools in the world called One. The CEO, Chatri Sitiota Tong, I can't pronounce, I'm sorry if I mispronounced his last name. He went on a video saying that basically, he said that he saw it was heartbreaking to see, and he's offering Quaden's parents and Quaden himself MMA lessons from one of the top schools in the world in Singapore. He said, basically that he would go ahead and do an all expense paid trip for him and his family to come to his school so he could teach him how to defend himself against bullies. That is what I'm talking about. That is exactly what I'm talking about. Honestly, MMA should be free to any child, anybody that gets bullied. It needs to teach them confidence and be able to protect themselves against these jerks that think they have a power over anybody that gets bullied. Trust me when I say, coming from somebody that got bullied as a child, I would have loved for somebody to have offered me these type of classes when I was a kid, because it hurts. It breaks your heart to know that there are humans out there at whatever age that actually practice this type of torture towards a little kid. Not cool. Quaden, if you ever listen to this podcast, let me tell you this much. You have a friend in me as well, kid. Hang in there. Trust me, you are a hero to so many kids that are getting bullied out there. Do not let these bullies take you down. Trust me when I say things will get better. And now that you're getting the support from an MMA organization, take that and always use that to defend yourself, only in self-defense against these jerks. That's what I'm going to say about that. In other entertainment news, Steven Spielberg's adopted daughter, Michaela Spielberg, has announced that she wants to venture into the adult world of adult films by doing solo acts. And according to what she's saying, Steven Spielberg is actually supporting her 110%. I mean, you have another daughter. I mean, this is the second daughter, actually. Well, the second or third daughter that from a top celebrity that gets into the adult entertainment industry. As you may know, Lawrence Fishburne's daughter, Montana Fishburne, also did adult movies as well. So seems like they just find their niche in this type of stuff. Michaela apparently says that she's done other types of careers, and she's happy as doing this. She sees this as she's bringing joy to the public in more ways than one, and she's perfectly okay with this. She loves doing this, and the Spielbergs support her 100%. So, I mean, go for it, handle it. I mean, if you're perfectly secure with your sexuality and you want to go ahead and showcase that, then you know what? More power to you. Handle business. In other entertainment news, Amanda Bynes' family is totally against her engagement to her fiance. She made the announcement earlier this week that she's getting married. She got engaged to a gentleman by the name of Paul Michael, who she met in AA, but her family is against it. I mean, her family is against it. They will not approve the marriage, and since her mother is pretty much her conservator, she will not allow this to happen. I mean, I can see why. I mean, looking at Amanda, like the transformation that she's gone through, she's changed, but it doesn't seem like she's changing for the better. It just seems like she just keeps on going on a downward spiral. She just graduated from FITM, so she's got that going for her. She's been sober for a year, and that's actually what she also said about her and her guy, and this guy Paul, is that they've both been sober for a year. And they want to get married, but her family's not going to allow it. So they're just going to stay engaged. This is going to be a prolonged engagement, and that's just the way it goes. I mean, who knows? Sometimes when people go through this type of mental breakdown or mental just a mental breakdown, they tend to, or addiction, actually, I should say, they tend to find kindred spirits, and they tend to like latch on to one another. It's almost like they're just looking after each other, playing it safe because they can't go near anyone else for fear that they might fall back into the addiction. At least that's what I'm assuming. I don't know. I mean, I have friends that have addictive personalities, and I don't know. It just seems like they're just trying to support each other. They've taken it a little bit further into an engagement. So I don't know. It's a pretty like, it's a random engagement, to be honest with you. It's a random engagement, and I could see why her family is a little bit cautious. Maybe they want to test the waters out and see if they are together because they actually love each other. This guy Paul trying to take advantage of Amanda Bynes and her popularity and her fame? Or the money, or is this true love? Who knows? I mean, I'm assuming that that's what her family is waiting to see. They're waiting to see what happens next. To be honest, I'm actually curious myself to see what happens next, because right now, I mean, it just seems like it's a marriage out of convenience for both of them. That's what it seems like to me. So we'll see what happens in the future if Amanda Bynes' family eventually says, okay, go ahead and get married, and go from there. In other entertainment news, up and coming country music star Kimberly Dawn's new song Nashville comes out today. So make sure you go ahead and listen to it, or better yet, how about I just play it for you? But before I do that, let's go ahead and check out the interview I have with Kimberly as she talks to me about what inspires her writing, her live performances, and of course, her new single, Nashville. On the Xander Effect, I have country music superstar Kimberly Dawn. Kimberly, how you doing today?
I am fabulous. How are you?
It's a beautiful day in my neighborhood, and I know that it's a beautiful day in your neighborhood because your song comes out today.
It does, and I'm so excited.
Your awesome song called Nashville. I'm really, really stoked, and I heard it before. I got the sneak peek. Thank you very much.
You did.
And I got to listen to it, and it's an amazing song. Why don't you go ahead and tell me a little bit about how you came up with this, with the lyrics, and how this song came about?
So, first of all, I love music, and I love all genres of music, and I grew up listening to everything from, the Supremes and Elvis Presley, and I don't know, I mean, you name it, I listened to everything. And music always it's brought so much joy into my life. And during the hardest times of my life, I feel like I'll listen to music and it lifts me up, or it helps me feel better. So with this song, I knew I wanted to write something that was going to get people excited. They wanted to dance, and that they'd want to sing to it. And what better thing to do than write a song about falling in love and picking a place that you fell in love with, or fell in love with that person. And so I love Nashville. It's one of my favorite cities. And so I wrote a song about that.
Awesome.
Talked about falling in love with that special someone in the city that I love. And yeah, it was great.
No, and that's fantastic. That's great because, and I mean, Nashville is, pretty much country, country music capital of the world. So, I mean, that's pretty much where a lot of country music comes from. But that's really cool that, you don't just box yourself into just one genre. You like all kinds of music, and that's really awesome of you to do that. So, I mean, did you always knew you were going to be a country singer, or was there a point that you were going to be trying to do something else, or did just country music just flow in your veins and just say, you know what, you need to sing because this is who you are?
Well, okay, so I grew up in a small town. I actually grew up on a farm in Alberta, Canada. And I grew up listening, like I said, to all genres of music. But I really fell in love with country music probably in like the 90s. I moved out to Los Angeles, and I actually was doing pop music in LA. And I did that for, honestly, about 10 years. I was doing pop music. And part of that for me, I love to write, so I write my songs. So I was doing that, but there was just something that I felt like I was missing. I really wanted to do country music. I actually really did. And being in LA, I had so many producers say to me, well, if you want to do country music, you need to move to Nashville. And that was something that was just something at that time, like 10 years ago. It was just, I wasn't going to just up and, leave. My husband, my family were here.
Well, and that's the thing is that Nashville, and I'm sorry to cut you off here quick, but Nashville, like everybody always says,
Hollywood, if you want to be an actor, go to Hollywood. You want to be in Broadway, go to New York, or fashion, New York. You want to do country music, go to Nashville. You want to do pop music, you go to Orlando. So, I mean, every single one of these areas has their own niche.
They do. And, it's interesting because I get it. Like 10 years ago, yeah, I probably would have had to really have moved to Nashville, stayed in Nashville. But I feel like Nashville's become such a music hub, period. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many songwriters that are even in the pop genre that are going out to Nashville and just writing in Nashville, working in Nashville. So I feel like it's become like a hub for all different genres of music. But for me, about 4 years ago, I just said, you know what? I'm going to do what I want to do, and this is country music. And so I kind of jumped into it. And this past year, I've spent the last year really going back and forth to Nashville. So I'll go to Nashville for like a week at a time and write, and that's kind of what I was doing last year. So I'd been to Nashville, but this past year, I really have spent a lot of time there. And then while I was there, I met a lot of really great songwriters and artists and was writing a lot. And I actually just finished an EP in January.
Nice. Very nice. And besides Nashville, you also have a couple of other songs too, like Cadillac Lovers and Slow Dancing in the Dark.
Yes, I do.
And Slow Dancing was nominated for Best Country Song at the 2019 Hollywood Music and Media Awards.
Yeah, it was, and I was really excited about that. I was pleasantly surprised when I found out that it was nominated. So that was exciting to actually, you do music because you love it. Well, I do it because I love it. And getting a little bit of recognition sometimes, it feels good. I'm not going to lie. It feels good to actually be recognized, and you feel like, wow, okay, I'm actually putting something out there that people are listening to, that people actually appreciate. So it felt good just to be recognized and, to be nominated,
And the thing is that your music, you were seen quoted saying, all through growing up, raising a family, and finding myself, music got me past the most difficult times. If my song gives someone else strength to get through the day, then I've done what I set out to do. That's a quote that you said. So tell me a little bit about the rough times that you had. I mean, obviously, it's funny because I was talking to a friend of mine not too long ago, and I told him that country music has a kind of like, and you're a storyteller, so a lot of country music is telling a story. And what's really cool, because one of my favorite country music artists is Garth Brooks. He's one of my favorites, and his song, like I remember listening to, like, the first song I heard was Thunder Road. And when I heard that song, what's beautiful about that song is that he describes the rain. He describes the elements that are around him. He describes everything in that song. And it's so funny because the song isn't about a woman. It's not about a car. It's not about his guitar. It's about the road and the rain and what he goes through. And that, to me, is just amazing, because a lot of country songs are a lot like that. They're not just about a person, but they're about the environment, the inanimate objects. They're about different things that just move you. I mean, and for you, from what I can tell, it has to do with your love life. It has to do with your emotions. It has to do with all these things. So I'm assuming that, getting through rough times inspired a lot of these songs as well.
Very much so. I mean, like I said, I grew up on a farm. The population of my little town was 1,000 people. Oh, wow. So it's like you grow up in that. And, today I feel like it's a little harder with social media. Thank goodness I feel like I'm blessed that I didn't have to deal with that. It's like if you had issues at school, you could at least come home and get rest from that and then have to deal with it the next day. So I think just, I would listen to, I remember Wilson Phillips. They had a song called Hold On. And I remember, I think I had just gone through a breakup, and I remember hearing that song, and I'm like, I'm going to make it. It's okay. I have other things that are, it really carried me through that, And very so true. For me, we all go through life, and we all are going to have problems, even though, you can look at social media and people's lives might look like they're perfect. Nobody's life is perfect. We're all
Nope.
going to go through life, and we're not going to be unscathed with everything. So for me, I take experiences that I've dealt with in my life to maybe help me through, and I'll write about them and I'll tell a story. But I also take other people's stories. You know, you know, one of my best friends dealt with cancer. You know, so I'm just saying there's a lot of real life scenarios that we all deal with. And, you know, I will take those things and I put them into song. It's actually my therapy, to be honest with you. I feel like songwriting has become this therapy for me. And then when I release it out into the world, I'm releasing it to all the listeners and everyone who's listening to it. And hopefully they get something from it, whatever they take from that, and make it their own. Because now I've given it to them.
And you know what? And that's the thing. That's what makes this type of music so real. That's actually what makes every lyric that you write so real, because it is about real people. And talking about Wilson Phillips, you opened for Wilson Phillips at the House of Blues in 2015.
I did open up for Wilson Phillips, which is very surreal for me because I grew up, I loved their music and I used to listen to it. And so when I had the opportunity to open up for them, it was, I feel like I manifested it.
Yeah, right? Because you were saying that you were listening and suddenly you're opening for them. So that must have been something surreal for you.
Yeah, it was. And they were great. They're just, class act. They were great.
So are you used to performing for for large crowds of people? I mean, are you starting to get used to it? Because you're starting to gain a lot of fans, especially on social media and on Spotify. You know, you have about 50,000 plus fans on Instagram. So a lot of people are starting to take notice. How do you feel whenever you get up on stage? I mean, or how are you going to feel when you do a concert and all 50,000 are right there staring back at you?
You know what? I definitely still get nervous when I perform, and I haven't been out performing for a while because I've really been focusing on obviously writing and wanting to make the best music right now. But I'm now just starting to get back into it. I did like a little secret open mic night last week. I didn't tell anyone I was doing it, and I just showed up at this
and I
place
was
in
not
LA.
invited. How dare you? Oh my God, that's it.
I know. How dare me? So it was good. It was just because I'm like, you know what, I'm going to start doing this, you know. So I did that, and it's just good to put myself out there. But I think it's good to always be nervous because it keeps you on your game.
Correct.
I think if you're not nervous, then you're kind of not necessarily being in the moment and really wanting to. I think give the best show that you can give, or give the best performance. You know, I want to be able to, you know, still be nervous and have those nerves because I feel like it makes me a better performer. And a performer in the sense where I want people to feel the emotion that's coming from me, whether it's a happy, upgoing, fast song or it's a sappy, slow song. You know, I just want people to be able to connect with me. So I still get nervous, but like I said, I'm getting my feet wet again and I'm starting to do shows. So.
And you know what? I mean, it's funny because coming from a mother of four, being nervous is a little bit strange because, I mean, you went through 4 pregnancies, which I'm sure that must have been nerve-wracking for you, and you survived plenty. So I think going in front of a lot of people shouldn't be that nerve-wracking, I don't think.
You think? Have you done it?
Well, I guess, yeah, you're right. That's why I said I don't think. I'm very careful of how I say things because I know it's going to blow right back to me. So no, but that's cool though that I mean, like you're able to balance, you know, your personal life with 4 kids, you know, your marriage and music. How in the world are you doing all that?
I don't sleep. There's a lot of juggling. But you know what? That's one thing I will say. I'm really good at multitasking. I really am. I'm good at it. I just need to be better about how I schedule myself. So there are definitely days where I'm running ragged between, you know, whether it's a, you know, guitar lesson, because I still actually take guitar lessons and piano lessons because I always want to better myself, whether it's rehearsal, but then I have the kids and they have to be picked up from school or they have to be to this appointment or that, so it's a lot of, scheduling, multitasking, and I've learned not to be afraid to ask for help. So there are definitely times where I need help, and I'll rely on friends. Hey, you know what? I'm going to be out of town this entire week. Can you help me?
Wow. I mean, that's amazing, because I know people that have one kid and they can't handle one kid. You have four and you're able to handle four children, a marriage, your career, and still find time to practice, piano and guitar lessons. I mean, that is just that goes to show that excuses, like, and this is an old saying, and excuse me for saying this, but excuses are like assholes. Everybody's got one. That's an old saying that a friend of mine, or not a friend, my old journalism teacher actually told us this.
I love that.
she got upset with us because we were behind on our deadline. She walks in there and screams. I was like, there is no reason why this deadline should be so behind. You guys are full of excuses. And that's when she said the phrase, and it stuck with me for the rest of my life.
It did stick with you. See? That you learned something in that class. That's good.
And that was in the 9th grade. I'm not going to even say how long ago that was, because I don't want to age myself here. But that was a long time ago, and it's still in my head. But that's, you know what? That's cool, though, because, I mean, you are the embodiment of no excuses. Like, you seriously are able to do everything, and that is very commendable to see and to hear, to be honest with you. And I'm sure your kids,
that's very sweet.
The older they get, they are going to, I mean, if they don't already, appreciate everything you do, every sacrifice that you have done. I am sure that I appreciated everything my mom did when she was alive, and to this day I still do. So I can tell you, from a son, they will definitely appreciate all you do, because they'll take example. They will take example of how you are as a person, how you are as a professional. They'll take example for that too. You're an example of, pretty much, if they're saying, "Oh, I want to quit," you're an example of, "Oh, did I?" Look at all I'm doing. I haven't quit yet. And then, just because I'm married and have kids doesn't mean that I'm going to give up on my dreams. So that is the great example that you are giving for the rest of up and coming, artists. Pretty much, you're an example for that, and that's amazing. So aside from that, what do we have? Like, you did a secret concert that I wasn't invited to, but we're not going to talk about that. What other concerts that are publicly known are you going to be coming up with very soon?
You know what? I'm going to be in Nashville next month, and I'm doing a writer's round at the George Jones Hotel on the 22nd of March. So far that's what I have coming up. I'm going to do some stuff probably around LA, but nothing has been set in stone yet. So.
And weren't you also at the 2020 Vision Regard 10 event?
Yes.
How was that for you? Because it was hashtag the Year of the Woman.
Yes, amazing. So I performed a couple of songs there. I performed a song called Warrior, which is an empowering song. It's an empowerment song, definitely. And then I performed Nashville, so I shared that with everyone a day early. But the song Warrior, I actually wrote that song, again, talk about songs that you want to be able to help people through difficult times. I had one of my kids that was being bullied at school.
Oh, wow.
And I remember having the conversation with her, and I she was young. She was probably 10.
Mm-hmm.
And
I know about that.
It's a real thing. And the thing is, people think that bullying is someone has to push you or be physical with you, or
No.
It's so many things. I mean, there's adults that are bullied in the workplace. I mean, there's so much. And so I sat down at the piano and I just started writing. And this was a song I wasn't even going to release.
Wow.
I wrote it for her, and I sang it to her. I said, "This is your song," and I said, "If you're ever having a hard time, just remember you are a warrior. You're strong. You can get through this." And I did. Probably like 4 years later, I released it. You know, and I kind of had a conversation with her and said, "You know what? I feel like this song, you know, could help a lot of people that are going through just a hard time. It may not be that they're being bullied. It could just be, you know, anything. They're just having a hard time. And this might be the one thing that puts a smile on their face or gives them the courage to keep going through the day." And I think we all need that. We all need to have something that lifts us up when we're in our deepest and darkest place that can help us feel better. And so with that song, with Warrior, that's been my hope with that song the whole time, is just that it will, you know, encourage others and lift them up when they're, you know, going through their, you know, darkest times.
You know what? That's very well said, because I was bullied as a kid myself, so I know all about that. And music does actually help you get through a lot of things. And, you know, it's amazing that you're doing that, especially since bullying is such a controversial subject right now amongst young people. It's still going on to this day. I thought it might have been eradicated already. Like, you know, people would be more tolerant, but it seems like with social media, it's just making things worse. And it's so sad to see, especially if a young girl gets bullied. Girls are already having a tough time as it is growing up, and then add bullying to that. I mean, that's just too much. That's too much for a young girl to go through. So I'm very happy that you came up with that song, even though it was just for your daughter. That's an amazing song to give to the rest of society, really. And you know, so we young girls could actually listen to it, or women, or anybody for that matter, could listen to it and say, you know what, I can get through this. So that's really cool of you to have done that. Kimberly, where can we follow you? Where can we stalk you on social media?
Stalk me. Okay. On Instagram, you can find me at official Kimberly Dawn, and that's like official OFFICIAL, Kimberly, KIMBERLY, Dawn, DAWN. I'm even on Twitter. You guys follow me on Twitter. And on Twitter, I'm just official Kim Dawn. And then I'm on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook, just Kimberly Dawn Music. And Spotify, you can find me on Spotify. That's really important. Official Kimberly Dawn on Spotify. And then I'm on Apple Music too. So download. You guys stream my song Nashville. Stream all my music.
Oh, we're going to be playing Nashville coming up next right now. Kimberly Dawn, thank you so much for being on the Xander Effect. I look forward to interviewing you again. Hopefully I get to have a sit-down interview with you in person and be able to really see what you've been up to since this interview.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. It was so great. And yes, we are for sure going to do that. We're going to have a sit down, and you're going to know next time I have a show. I'll keep you posted.
I better send like a carrier pigeon, even if you have to. I mean, you know, something.
You know it. You know it.
All right. So thanks a lot, Kimberly. Talk to you soon.
Thanks. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Georgia clay, right back to the summer, burning up the place. All night on the Broadway strip, guitar case open with no dollar to tip. All lit up like the neon lights. In 18 years I never felt so high. When I think about Nashville, windows down on your Cadillac, I think about the sunset dripping down a summer sky. about a sunset dripping down a summer sky, sipping on a moonshine I'll never forget. When I think about landslides and how I built my life around you, I ain't afraid of change, and not a radio station, not a thing from my past about you. When you think about Nashville, bet you think of me too. Bet you think of me too. Bet you think of me too.
That was Kimberly Dawn's Nashville. That song comes out today, so make sure you go ahead and download it on Spotify and any other place that you could find it. Amazing interview. Thank you so much, Kimberly Dawn, for being on the Xander Effect. Hopefully I get to talk to you again very soon. I actually bumped into her yesterday at the 10-year anniversary of Regard magazine event. That was a lot of fun. It was an incredible event, star-studded red carpet event. I really enjoyed myself. Major shout out to Tracy Kaiser and Kelly K PR for putting an amazing event. Kelly, she's done a lot for Regard magazine, and they always do great events for them. So amazing, very classy, very stylish. An awesome performance by Kimberly Dawn. Everything was, it was just a great night last night. So major shout out to them for holding and inviting me to a wonderful event. So that was really cool of them. In sports, looks like there's a scandal that's out right now. Well, it just came out actually yesterday on Thursday that an Olympic wrestler was sexually abused by a former Michigan athletic doctor, Andy Rovat, who competed in the U.S. 2008 Summer Olympics, told the Associated Press that basically he had encounters with the late Dr. Robert E. Anderson, and it happened his freshman year in 1998. He was quoted, "I would like to let people know that it's okay to come out. It's okay to let your voice be heard. I was warned about him by teammates saying if anything happens and you go see the doctor, he's going to inappropriately touch you. That's just what Dr. A does." I mean, honestly, that if they're warning people about this doctor, somebody who, these athletes trust, then something should have been done a long time ago, and yet it wasn't. I mean, it doesn't make any sense that that they didn't go ahead and nip this in the bud, and they allowed this doctor to do this type of stuff, But I mean, and now it's crazy because this wrestler decides to come out now. Why? I mean, I get it. I get it. I've been told that, whenever abuse happens, it's difficult for the victim to come out because it's so embarrassing. But at the same time, you need to. Any victims out there that are victims of abuse or molestation or anything like that, you need to come out. You need to come out and you need to tell somebody. You need to report this person, because if you don't, it's more than likely this person's going to do it to somebody else. It's more than likely they could do it to a friend, sister, brother, whoever. And you need to stop that. Or it could be someone's sister, somebody's brother, anybody. You need to stop that type of abuse, because these people will not be stopped unless somebody speaks up and says, "Hey, this person is a pervert, a pedophile, whatever. They need to go to jail. They need to be reported." So, yeah, it's a difficult situation, I know, but something needs to be done about that. In other sports news, the NFL has released a collective bargaining agreement, the CBA. They've announced that the owners accepted the terms, but the players aren't so happy about it. Here's the statement that basically they shelled out for the CBA. Following more Then 10 months of intensive and thorough negotiations, the NFL players and clubs have jointly developed a comprehensive set of new and revised terms that will transform the future of the game, provide for players, past, present, and future, both on and off the field, and ensure that the NFL's second century is even better and more exciting for the fans. The membership voted today to accept the negotiated terms on the principal elements of a new collective bargaining agreement. The Players Association would also need to vote to approve the same terms for there to be a new agreement. Since the clubs and players need to have a system in place and know the rules that they will operate under by next week, the membership also approved moving forward under the final year of the 2011 CBA if the players decided not to approve the negotiated terms. Out of respect for the process and our partners at the NFLPA, we will have no further comment at this time. As the last paragraph states, players must discuss whether to accept these terms. Here's the thing. The players, they're not happy. The terms are not benefiting them at all, and they have taken to Twitter. JJ Watt tweeted, "Hard no on that proposed CBA." Richard Sherman also tweeted, "Leadership, I am with you. Please communicate with your team rep." Allen Robinson's the second. "Rip it up," he tweeted. Leonard Fournette, "I disagree with the 17 games," he tweeted. Michael Thomas tweeted, "Yeah, Joe Mixon tweeted, "Honestly, it would be nice as a running back before they agree to 17 games if they asked us what we thought. Just saying." David Bakhtiari tweeted, 48 to 48.5% split roughly between 1,700 players, 52 to 51.5% split among 31 owners. Yet this equation is supposed to make sense. Not to mention the 0.5% only happens if we agree to an extra game a season. Hashtag know your worth. Basically, the tweets just go on and on of players not liking this agreement. And I'm sure that if the negotiation took this long, the players are going to go ahead and continue to hold back until this thing is revised that will benefit everybody, because the players are looking at it as this is not benefiting the players and we're the ones doing all the work. It's benefiting mainly the owners. This isn't a good deal. So the owners better be careful, because if they don't come up with at least a halfway decent agreement or some sort of a deal that will benefit all parties, you're looking at a possible player strike at this point, from what I can see, because the players are not going to take this type of stuff. They're the ones that take all the risks. They're the ones that take the risk of permanent injury, just injuries in general. I mean, there's so much stuff that happens in football that it's not a good deal. NFL, you need to go ahead and revise this for your players, because they do a lot. They bring you a lot of money. Fans pay a lot to watch these guys go at it against each other. So you need to revise that. In other sports news, Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury go at it this Saturday, and man, this is the second time that they go up against each other, and to be honest, this fight is getting hectic. Obviously, we know Tyson Fury has got the Money Mayweather mentality of talking crap to his opponents and really he has a flair for the theatrics. I mean, one time he came to a presser in a Batman outfit to prove a point that he's Batman and his opponent was Joker, and he beat up the Joker and told his opponent, "You're next." I mean, the YouTube video is freaking hilarious to watch this. But Tyson Fury is definitely an outspoken fighter, and he's going up against Deontay Wilder, who's not too thrilled about his opponent, especially since the last time they met, it was it was a split draw, and and Wilder basically kept his title. Fury's not too happy about that, so they're gonna go at it with one another this Saturday, and the tickets are freaking just ridiculous how expensive the tickets are. I had it from a reliable source that floor seats are going for $22,000, like $22,000. That's maddening. That's, oh my God, that is simply just out of control. Out of control. Yeah, I obviously I'm not going to attend the fight, but I hope to watch it, somewhere at a sports bar where my entry fee will only be about $12. So I mean, I'm more than likely going to go ahead and do something like that. Up next, we have Jugar al Amor by up and coming artist JP Castillo right here on the Xander Effect.
Yeah, ya nada de ti me impresiona, ey. Juegas con todos y los ilusionas, yeah. Pero conmigo no te va a funcionar, no, no, no. Ese jueguito yo me lo inventé, yeah. Si quieres jugamos a amarnos, gozamos sin lastimarnos, pero mañana nos olvidamos. Lo repetimos si nos encontramos. ¿Qué quieres? Si apareces de la nada y te vas de repente, baby. Solo mírame a la cara y dime qué se siente saber que yo estoy dispuesto a jugar tu juego. Solo dime si lo tomas, porque si no, hasta luego, baby. Si apareces de la nada y te vas de repente, baby. Mírame a la cara y dime qué se siente saber que yo estoy dispuesto a jugar tu juego. Solo dime si lo tomas, porque si no, hasta luego, baby. Podemos jugar toda la noche corrido y mañana me despido y me llamas cuando sientas que ya no aguanta y quieres conmigo y te saco los gemidos, pero por favor de mí no te enamores, que ya no estoy para un mundo de colores. Ahora estoy viviendo momentos mejores, solito y sin compromiso, así que no me llores. ¿Qué quieres? Si apareces de la nada y te vas de repente, baby. Solo mírame a la cara y dime qué se siente saber que yo estoy dispuesto a jugar tu juego. Solo dime si lo tomas, porque si no, hasta luego, baby. Si apareces de la nada y te vas de repente, baby. Solo mírame a la cara y dime qué se siente saber que yo estoy dispuesto a jugar tu juego. Solo dime si lo tomas, porque si no, hasta luego, baby. Si quieres jugamos a amarnos, gozamos sin lastimarnos, pero mañana nos olvidamos y lo repetimos si nos encontramos. ¿Qué quieres? Si apareces de la nada y te vas de repente, baby. Solo mírame a la cara y dime qué se siente saber que yo estoy dispuesto a jugar tu juego. Solo dime si lo tomas, porque si no, hasta luego, baby. Si apareces de la nada, te vas de repente, baby. Solo mírame a la cara y dime qué se siente saber que yo estoy dispuesto a jugar tu juego. Solo dime si lo tomas, porque si no, hasta luego, baby.
That was JP Castillo's Jugar al Amor right here on the Xander Effect. And man, that's actually, dude, I actually really like his music. JP's got an incredible talent, man, and he's got more than just that. So trust me, he's definitely up and coming in the music industry. In video game news, there is a brand new vampire video game. It's called Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, and it takes place in Seattle. They're doing kind of like a, I don't know, they're doing kind of like a folklore noir, something like that. I saw the previews for the game. It's actually a first person type of game, and I guess the rules are that the character that you become is a vampire, and he goes only after the 1%ers, and the character, I guess, cannot reveal himself to the public as a vampire for because otherwise something happens to the character. It's got a lot of really cool graphics to it from what I see. It's supposed to come out actually later this year, so it'll probably come out with the new systems that are coming out with the PS5 and the Xbox Series X later this year, without a doubt. But it's definitely an interesting first-person game. It's got like shadowy figures. I mean, it takes place like near. Again, it's in Seattle, so it's like near like the docks area. It's pretty crazy. It says that in this version of Seattle, which forms part of White Wolf Publishing's World of Darkness universe, the undead are forbidden from revealing themselves to humans. So that's one of the rules that they have for the game. So I'm actually looking forward to it. It seems like a very fascinating game. It kind of takes me back a little bit to Doom. It's almost like not as like freaky or as crazy as Doom, but like all first-person shooters, it reminds me something of that. Also, it also reminds me of Judge Dredd. I don't know if you guys remember that PC game that they inspired off of the movie Judge Dredd, but I actually liked that game. That game was pretty cool. You would go around in first person, and anybody that was breaking the law, you would judge them. So it kind of reminds me in that, like, but based on the graphics, based on some of the screenshots that I've seen, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Judge Dredd PC game. So I don't know. It looks pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Again, it comes out later this year. They haven't given a date yet. They just say that it comes out in 2021. In other video game news, Pokemon Go legendary Tornadus will be leaving the raid battles very soon, but you could still go ahead and try to catch him in raid battles. He'll be leaving the battles on Tuesday, February 25th at 1 p.m. So before that happens, you could go to any, like, I guess, battle station or gym or whatever. He appears in gyms as a 5-star raid boss. So you need to, I guess, team up with other Pokemon users to defeat it and be able to capture Tornadus. Otherwise, it's not going to be that easy. He's a very difficult boss to beat. So make sure you try to do that before the 25th, and he goes away for good. That's the news in case you haven't heard it. Thank you so much for listening to the Xander Effect, and we'll see you next time. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Live it up. B. Taylor. Flow Rider. Live it up. Live like it's the night of your life. You got the right to live. So go and live it up. Live like it's the night of your life. Let's start the party. Start the party. Live like it's the night of your life. You got the right to live. So go and live it up. Live like it's the night of your life. Let's start the party. Start the party. Girl, I'm dangerous like tightrope. No talking, not that of a maestro. More like that lizard from Geico.
The Xander Effect is powered by 50/50 Global Music Inc., BMG, and Sony Music The Orchard, in association with Art 19 Media.